Bonsoir, mes amis.
We've got 5 episodes to cover, so...
Oh, I thought we were doing this in French.
Nope. That makes no sense to this lot. It's October 2023 and we've just watched the episode of Ghosts.
Oh, I wasn't implying that.
We learned that Robin speaks French. There you go.
Spoilers.
How is it in the future where there are no more series of Ghosts because this is the last one? Yeah. Well, in the immortal words of the lady on the desk in front of me, let's get a shift on. Welcome back to Doctor Who Review. I'm Chris. The tone is already being set here.
I'm not Chris.
This is for those who are new to this is a podcast essentially, but there's a bit of a visual component. It's not essential. You can stick with some in the background and have a listen, but occasionally a cute dog walks past.
It's not a podcast.
I mean, it is kind of.
It's not really.
It's a video podcast, but the video is more like when you put other screensavers on your TV.
What does a podcast stand for? What does that mean?
Please, oh dear, can all of us, Ruddy, get on with this, please. Okay.
Wow.
You may have noticed, you're a regular viewer to this here series, that there are more episodes in the covered ones for this video. And that is because, as we say, it is October 2023 as we record. Our aim IRL is to barrel through this era in the next month so that we can watch the 60th anniversary specials as caught up. So we're not like watching them and then going back and watching like a season that we missed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we want to go into the 60th anniversary ones to be like, oh my god, we completed our marathon in time for the 60th. Let's ruddy well go. Also, unlike the Capaldi era, and obviously the missing stories that came out animated that we covered in the last video, you've seen quite a lot of this.
I wouldn't say quite a lot. I'd say quite a chunk.
You've seen a chunk of this?
Yeah. Mostly because, obviously, I started watching the series with you because it was a new series, new Doctor, exciting, all that jazz.
All that, yes. All that, yes, very good. Congratulate myself, that's pathetic.
I think I stopped after the next one we're going to watch because I was like, I can't take it anymore.
Okay, all right.
Oh no, there's one where they're like Bond. Is it Spyfall?
That's the next series.
Yeah. Because I recall watching that one.
Spyfall's very good. We'll get to that. Well, it's like a solid 7 out of 10.
It's a solid piece of.
It barrels along at a pace, but it's also incredibly memeable. #plane thieves. Anyway. I want to, before we charge into this, because we're mostly going to talk about your notes and then just spin off on thoughts, I want to take you back in time to 2017.
Are you telling me?
You, yes.
Okay.
No, I'm having a conversation with them. For those who can't see, not Chris, which is all of you, she just pulled a face.
Can you hear my eyes rolling?
Why have you got granite under your eyelids?
Crunchy eyes.
Crunchy eyes!
Oh no.
We're playing a game of Crumb Eye, and the winner gets a rake. What do women like again?
Trumpets and bookmarks.
Trumpets and bookmarks. So,
Trumpets.
everyone going,
bookmarks.
Trumpets and bookmarks. Everyone else going, what the hell? Summer 2017, the trailer goes out on TV that announces Jodie Whittaker to be playing the next incarnation of the Doctor.
You're going to show me up now, aren't you?
No, I want to talk about it from a kind of just a retrospective kind of angle, really, because at the time my reaction was, oh, she's awesome. She was in Attack the Block. She's great. Oh, that's going to be so cool. And also, wow, female Doctor. What a change. Oh, looking forward to this. What was your reaction?
I was a bit mad.
Like, you hadn't even watched the show for like a year and a half at that point, and you were vehemently against it.
I am not good with change. I don't like change.
That's what it is, ultimately, yeah.
I was already unhappy with the series because Clara. And granted, I hadn't given it the time of day that it deserved because I actually ended up enjoying it. But mixing it up, it just felt like they were trying so hard to make everybody love it again. Instead of doing what everybody was chatting about, like just put it to bed for a little bit and then bring it back.
That was a conversation at the time, yeah. There was a chat about that. Like, look, it keeps taking pauses because of Sherlock and things like that. Like, can it just go away for like a few years and then come back? But obviously, as you know from just being a media viewer and being married to someone who makes TV stuff, like, if you put something to rest, it tends not to get picked back up again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, you've got to keep the momentum going to keep it in existence, essentially.
I don't know. I just thought it was, an unnecessary move.
I mean, we talked about it. I said, like, why is it? And you said, because your favourite version of their relationship, of like, the main character's relationship of the show, is kind of that, like, fatherly / know-it-all kind of character showing someone like us around the universe. And you kind of had it, and you even said at the time, you're like, to me, that's older bloke and younger person.
Yeah.
And it was very much kind of like the patriarchal template we've grown up with of like, the old professor in something is always played by a male actor, usually a freaking white male actor. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's the, it's the explorer and the savage that he takes under his wing. It's the wise old professor and the young student who, like, he teaches, you immediately pull the face. In more innocent times, good night, Mr. Tom, The Secret Garden, Box of Delights, things like that, all right?
That's not what just happened. I'm just sewing some beads on something, and I popped my little tub of beads on a surface that the dog was near, and I thought, if she wakes up and just shakes her ears, these beads are going to go frigging everywhere. Well, anyway,
It's very much been that kind of thing, which is one of the reasons why I think a lot of people who loved the classic run were shocked and dismayed at the Doctor and Grace kissing in the TV movie, and the Rose dynamic shifting into romance when the Doctor became the 10th Doctor. There were people who really rejected that, and I think it's because, again, they feel that same thing. To them, Doctor Who is, Tom and Louise, the Fourth Doctor, and Leela.
Yeah.
Or John and Katie and like that, Colin and Nicola, like, that's the dynamic. Very, very much Sylvester and Sophie.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of the dynamic to a lot of people. So, even though it was just a case of changing the character's gender, some people who are, how to put this mildly, misogynistic twats just hated the fact that it was a woman. Like, I just hate the fact that the Doctor was female. They just hated that. But then there were those like yourself who were just kind of like, I don't know, this feels like such a big shift in what this show feels like. The skeleton of the show feels to me.
So different. And like I say, I am so bad with change. It makes me so anxious, and I just don't want to do it.
And then we watched The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
And it was not to do with Jodie at all.
No,
even a little bit.
Don't worry, I've just stressed that like, you are not here to reinforce the patriarchy. You stopped trying to do that when you learned it wasn't just about horses. How is it in 2024? Is it still a Barbie world? I hope it is. It's a great movie, and it should always be a great movie to everybody at all times. But then we saw The Woman Who Fell to Earth back in 2018.
Yeah.
And I remember that night it finishing, you going, I don't know how I felt about the story, but yeah, she's pretty good. And it was like, that was kind of the weird little diffusal in your head of like, okay, all right, I'll give it a shot.
I unfortunately posted on Facebook, that I wasn't happy about it. And I immediately felt bad about it and went back and deleted it because I was like, I sound like an absolute arsehole. Making it sound like women shouldn't be in anything. They deserve to be like kitchen.
In the where?
Kitchen.
On the kitchen. Get back on the kitchen.
And that's not...
The security kitchen. Take her to the
back
security
to the kitchen.
kitchen.
Get the sashes out. Yeah,
That's all right, just sneeze on them, it'll be fine.
I just really didn't want it to sound like I was being misogynistic.
Which is impressive, considering.
Yeah.
I mean, who do we literally have here behind us that you made?
Oh my god, she's wonderful.
Hello! Oh no!
God, Doctor, no!
Miss Pankhurst, what have you done? Right.
Yeah, and
Stand up, Geordie, stand up.
We'll get into it, but it's not the most mind-blowing episode I've ever seen in my life.
We were talking about it when we watched it, weren't we? That it's probably the least exciting introductory episode for a Doctor.
Yeah.
Because it kind of stops and starts and stops and starts and stops and starts.
I think my favourite bit was making the sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, because it's cute. And with the goggles on, pulling faces,
she's,
it's great.
Like you'd say, she's a Labrador.
She is a happy dog, a happy puppy.
She's a puppy
who's just constantly yapping and going. Like, this is the Doctor who, when you come home, her tail starts wagging. Like, that's her energy.
She's adorable, and she's just so excitable and a little bit scary when she's angry.
Yeah, which doesn't happen a lot this series. It comes back a bit later. There's a brilliant moment next series in an episode that cements, she is actually, like, there is some of that ego there. There is some of that heart and all that Pertwee still there. We've just not seen it because we've been watching The Excited Puppy Lady.
Yeah.
And when it comes out, it's like, it's a great scene. Those of you going, which one? Haunting of Villa Diodati. Which you will freaking love, I think, because of the historical guest characters and
is that the Mary Shelley one?
Yes, it is. It's the Frankenstein episode.
I've seen that episode.
Well, there you go. But she gets nasty.
Surprise!
She gets nasty to her friends at the end of that, and it suddenly is like, there's the Doctor.
Is that got that? Oh no, we'll get to that.
Yeah. And we also get another Doctor that we learn about who is quite Hartnell-esque in her manners and everything, and it's like, this works really well as well. But this episode is Rose is not really a post-regeneration story because it's Rose's introduction to the Doctor, and it barrels along at a pace, and it's great. And the Christmas invasion it's still Rose's story, and we're going to make you, the audience, wait for the new Doctor, and it's great.
Boy, is he worth it!
Because it just works so well. But you are so invested in Rose at that point, and Mickey and Jackie, that you don't care that the Doctor's not in the whole story, because you are media literate enough to know that he's going to show up at the end.
Yeah.
And when he does, it's brilliant. The 11th Hour, we've said this before, the 11th Hour and Spearhead from Space are my favourite first stories for Doctors.
Yeah.
And it's not just that they've got the eerie parallel of having a village hospital be a key location in both of them, but the 11th Hour, I think, is the greatest introductory episode to a Doctor of the modern era of the show. It just rockets along.
Yeah.
It has its quiet moments in the chaos, in both context and execution, and it's so good. And the introduction to Amelia, and then to Amy later, the use of Rory in the story, the monster is such a great visual.
It's quite mind-blowing to think that's all in one episode.
Yeah, it's brilliantly done. Deep Breath, we're not huge fans of. I think we enjoyed it more this time around because we knew what to expect. AKA comedy noises, newspaper hits Clara in the face. But
I'll always be, up for that.
Even though Deep Breath has a lot happening, 11th Hour balances it all so much better. Whereas in Deep Breath, it just feels like you're being bombarded by stuff.
Yeah.
And you're not really getting to know this new Doctor, and it's very... There's stuff I like about Deep Breath, but it's not great overall in my mind and heart.
I really like the Peter Capaldi's in it.
Yeah, but I think this is on the same level as Deep Breath. A lot happens, but it keeps slowing down.
Yeah, true.
A lot happens that it requires you to fill in the blanks, which, is not insulting the intelligence of the viewer, because it's like, look, someone's kidnapped the egg in the forest, someone already knows it was going to be here. Somebody wants answers on their sister who's gone missing, because it happened the last time one of these things showed up. That's intriguing. But then, when the characters find that, they spend 5 minutes explaining out loud that that's exactly what's happening. And it's this weird thing of it's respecting your intelligence as a viewer, but then going, for those of you who didn't get it, and then recapping. And then the show does that a lot from this point in real time.
Since you pointed that out, that's so irritating. It's like, yes, we know.
Like, it is a bit of
happening.
a trick, and I wonder whether or not it's Chris Chibnall's approach to writing for a family audience specifically, whether or not he's worried that maybe because again, this is, and we've always said it, this is a kids show.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean it's dumb. Kids shows should not be dumb. If they are, it's a bad kids show. But like, it feels like maybe he's a little worried that the younger members of the audience won't keep up. So there's like this ongoing narrative, but it plays out like, you know, like an audio play.
Yeah.
Where characters will obviously point things out in a way you wouldn't if you're in the room seeing it.
Yeah.
Because it's there to fill the gaps of what's happening to the listener, and then their imagination pictures it.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that stuff in this era, and it's even here in the very first episode, and it gets I think worse as it goes on, which is a shame because he's a great writer. I just feel like this approach hampers a lot of this season in particular.
Do you reckon the actors knew, and like were annoyed by it as well?
I don't know, because like, for all intents and purposes, from what I know from behind the scenes of this series and everything, contrary to the rumours that were online at the time, everyone got on.
What were the rumours?
Oh, there was rumours that like Jodie and Chibnall had fallouts and all this stuff, but it was just people looking for clicks. It was just people generating and farming clicks because like they wanted people to be like, oh, the show's going down the toilet. No. Like, everyone got on, everyone had a whale of a time, they were best mates, they're all best mates now to this day because they had the shared experience. They had a brilliant time making the show, the crews loved working on it, the effects teams loved working on it. From what I know, it was as pleasant as a TV series production can be, and as stressful as a TV series production can be, and that was it. So
the thing that's stressful about Doctor Who is the fucking fans. Definitely. And you can quote me on that.
Yeah, the fan base are awful, for the most part.
But that's kind of, yeah.
No, it's a small but loud minority. Nah, it's like 50-50, folks. Come on, let's be honest.
You're just loud. Stop. Take a chill pill.
If you're watching this, you watched the episode, so just things we liked. Jodie and Peter's costume is an oddly brilliant look.
Yeah.
Like, it's always fun to see a Doctor in their predecessor's costume.
Yeah.
But she's got this, like, the fact that she's in that very sort of, the outfit we associate with this once, because it's his original kind of look.
Yeah.
This once kind of strict, stern,
grouchy
guy, and just seeing this puppy dog walking around in it is hilarious.
It is cute.
It's also fun that there's obviously the tiny little details that would happen with every Doctor, but would be less obvious because of like more, you know, a male physique. They've clearly had to like make smaller pants, find smaller shoes. Like, they've had to shrink parts of the outfit so that she's not just hobbling around in stuff that she could trip up in, like, or chafe in on
that
set.
That just makes sense.
But it's just cute when you realise, wait a minute, she's in like a smaller version of his costume. That's really cute. It's like a tinier version.
Could you imagine running around with massive, huge pants that are way too long for you? How tall is Jodie Whittaker?
Jodie is, I can't remember.
Is she in the 5 foot?
I think she's in the latter side of the 5 foot group. I think she's like 5'7"-ish, something like that. 5'7", 5'8", or what have you. Whereas Capaldi is like 6'1", I think. He's quite a tall boy.
Beautiful.
Beautiful tall man. His hair adds another few inches.
Yeah.
Well. Stuff to highlight. I think this is this episode in particular is the most pretty the show has ever looked. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about the shots of like the hills over Sheffield.
Sheffield, yeah. True.
And the establishing shots of the city and the filming in the woods. Like, they've used these locations before. They've used them in like Robot of Sherwood and in Wizards vs. Aliens and stuff like that. The team have used these locations before, but they've never looked this crisp. Yeah. I think this is the first box set we've put in where it's really been obvious from the Blu-ray transfer of like, this looks good.
Yeah.
This is a good looking show.
Yeah, the lighting and everything.
The lighting on the crane sequence, like up there, like, it looks really good and dynamic. The tentacle monster, the probe thing, like the lightning storm with the tentacles all around it, like the wires.
Oh yeah, the tentacles
looks really good. like as a visual. It's like, God, that's really scary looking. The hell is that thing? Like, that looks great. I like the Stenza armour that Simshar is wearing.
That's true.
And it's a really gruesome design when he takes the mask off and his face is just full of teeth.
Don't like that.
No, but it's a good makeup though, isn't it? Because it's just like, oh, that's horrible.
Definitely, yeah, but gross. No, get back.
And Bradley Walsh is wonderful.
Yeah, Bradley Walsh, I think, is a national treasure.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe that's a curse. If you've ever done anything bad in your life, everyone will find out. But he's adorable. I mean, the clips from what's it called?
Chase.
What was it? The Chase. That's it. I've never watched it in my life. I've got no inclination to watch it in my life. But the clips I've seen are very funny. It's very cute.
And the fact that he's wearing a wig.
Yeah, to make him look older, was it?
It's to make him look older because his natural, because he's, he's a step granddad in this, but like his natural hair is quite spiky. He's got quite what is perceived to be a more kind of youthful hair. So Graham is a part he has to wear a wig for. He also, when this series was filming, there was a lot of overlap with The Chase.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was still filming The Chase whilst filming a big chunk of this season. Because it was like, you've been cast, we want you. And it was like, oh, but The Chase is also filming for like the next 3 months. So the ITV team like changed things around, moved it so that the filming for The Chase was done at the weekends.
Okay.
And spread it, instead of it being like a 2-month block, they spread it out over like 3 month, 4 month as weekend shoots.
Well, if that didn't
So essentially, Bradley Walsh worked his tits off for like 4 months.
Yeah.
But it was because it was one of those where it's like, we have to go ahead with this.
Everybody loves him.
But we also want you to make Doctor Who, because like, yeah, you should.
Bradley, we love you.
So yeah, good on him and good on him, and I hope he got a lot of naps on set. And also Sharon D. Clarke as Grace, who is going to be a recurring like nod of, God, she's great. Whenever she pops up, she's great. Grace is great.
Yeah.
Grace is lovely. It's just such a well-played part. Spoilers, she's only in it for this one. And she's memorable. Like, she's Uncle Ben.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, she's part of the origin of Graham and Ryan's arc going forward, and you are sad she's gone. And you feel the impact she'd leave on these two guys.
She's very much a kids' show more grandma.
Yeah.
She's very cute.
That is a great description, actually. I'd like you to crack into your notes, because I feel like that's going to spark some debate, and we also need to crack on in general, because we've rambled for half an hour on one episode.
Sorry. Let's go.
It's not Chris's notes. She takes them while she watches. It's not Chris's notes. Occasionally forgets to make one for an episode, like in this one. Let's find out which.
There's not loads for this, because I was just sat there watching. Beautiful opening shot. They're lying to everyone out of the UK.
The country looks lovely.
Yeah, it's like, no, they've turned the colour up on that. Definitely. 100%. I have little patience for everything in Doctor Who. If it annoys me, I'm so annoyed by it. It's like, even if it's just something really small, it's massively inflated because it's Doctor Who. I don't know why, it just is.
Go on.
Ryan. No. What's the actor's name?
Tosin Cole.
No. Put some inflection in.
There's a lot of debate about whether or not Tosin Cole was concentrating so much on getting the Sheffield accent right that was the main focus of his delivery.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's a bad actor, but I think he is not bringing his A game to Ryan Sinclair. I think he is at his absolute best, from my memory, where we are in this binge, folks. From my memory, he's at his absolute best in The Woman Who Fell to Earth and Resolution.
Rosa.
So the first episode... he's really good in Rosa, actually.
He's really good in Rosa.
He's really good in Rosa. But Woman Who Fell to Earth and Resolution focus on his familial relationships the most. And as a result, I think you get the best out of him because that's where he delivers. He can do that soap opera, that drama thing. He can make that work.
Yeah.
And you're not really fussed about if an accent slips because you're too busy watching, the story unfold and the character's emotions and his interactions.
I couldn't give a monkeys about the accent. That's
if it wasn't so, if it wasn't crippling him so much.
The way I describe it is like a year 8 drama student reading his part in the play they're doing that week.
Or sight reading it.
Or in English, reading the part of Tybalt.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody in Macbeth. It's like put a bit of something behind it. Don't just act as if you're just reading it off of a script. It's infuriating.
So spoiler alert, Ryan's the new Clara. I don't think you complained about Clara this much, and we're only 5 episodes into this character's tenure.
Well, I wrote, Ryan, no, he's so annoying, I can't make it through this. It's just because of the inflections. Oh no!
I love the realism of his YouTube channel only having like 20 views. That's a nice touch. Why would he have blown up? He wouldn't have.
I mean, how old is he portraying to be?
I believe the characters are in their early 20s.
Yeah. In
the series is the implication, because he's not seen Yaz since school.
Yeah.
And she's a PCSO, and you can
early.
You can be a PCSO from like.
I don't think she's a PCSO. I think she's a proper police.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Really?
She's
PCSOs aren't allowed to go around on their own, and they wouldn't be in a police car.
Well, that's just bad research, isn't it? Oh no! It says after showing the pod to PC Yasmin, so she's a PC.
Well, I was nearly a PCSO,
Really?
I really was.
Why would you change your mind?
Because the riots in Manchester happened, and I was like, "What? I'm not doing that."
Not doing that. Nah,
gonna do it. Yeah. So annoying. I wrote, why?
No idea why we both just broke out a George W. Bush Senior impression. But okay, sure.
Really?
Sure.
Why would you touch it?
Oh, please tell me we're talking about something.
The thing, the
egg thing.
Ends
up
accepting.
Yeah.
Like giving consent to or whatever. Why would you touch it? Now, I am the person that if they see something spooky, they'll go and look at it. Or go and, if there's an abandoned house, I'll go in it. If there's a dark, if there's a basement, I'll go in it. But I won't touch anything.
Weird.
I'm not that stupid. Even though I said
you brought a gift shop pencil home from the abandoned Camelot amusement park.
I brought those home.
Yeah, you touched things in an abandoned amusement park and brought them home.
Actually, the person I was with touched them first, and then I touched them. Because then he gave them to me.
Oh, for Christ's sake. So
don't touch it. That's stupid. Also, I knew that the stuff that I was, around was from planet Earth, and it wasn't a weird glowing.
How do you know those pencils didn't appear before you? Can we hurry along? We're going to actually run out of battery.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. His inflections. Stop it. Does it suit me? Laughing face. I don't know what that means. I should write context.
Is it the Doctor? Does it suit? Yeah, they're like, yes, when she first goes, like a woman. Oh, does it suit me?
Oh, that's very cute. Yeah.
Because obviously she just barrels through, and then there's a moment where like she's going, "Miss, excuse me, miss." She's like, "Why do you keep calling me that?" Then she realises.
Not Ginger though.
Still not Ginger. Yeah.
That's the end of Lucy's notes. Not Chris's notes. Damn it.
Grace's death
is silly.
Well, it's you get it. Like she's trying to get to Ryan and Yaz because they're like trapped up the thing because of because the electric creature ends up being basically like a weapon. It's a thing that's sent out to track down someone.
Yeah, he's cheating essentially.
Yeah, and he's also killing random people along the way and taking their teeth. Eat my salad, Halloween! Like he's just randomly killing people for no reason. Do you remember? The guy just throwing his kebab salad at him.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, But I'm just going to say it now. I think Tim Shaw is a terrible villain.
Yeah. I agree.
For 2 reasons. One, there's just a little too much stuff that he's doing. in this story for him to work as the background plot thing of an introductory story to a new cast.
Yeah.
Like, shop window dummies come alive. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Evil evil Santas and evil rock people. Done.
Yeah.
There's an eyeball looking for a worm. Great. There's a T-Rex and it sets fire in the Thames, and then there's also people going missing, and it might be someone using their skin, but actually they're clockwork people. Too much.
Too much going
Too
on.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's come down to Earth in a pod, and apparently not the first time he's come down to Earth, and other versions have come down to Earth because they've like killed or taken people before, including this guy's sister. And now he's come to take this random kid who's on a train, who works on a construction site, and it's because it'll mean that they're the head of their clan when they go back. And along the way, they kill a bunch of other people. But to try and find him, they're using a ball of electricity covered in tentacles that'll track the person down. And then he's also going to put bombs in the necks of our main characters so they won't stick together. It's too much for an introductory episode.
I've switched off.
Including Grace, a cast of 5.
Yeah.
Too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
He's also a complete rip-off of Predator.
That's what I can't get past.
Yeah.
It's just Predator.
Yeah.
That's weak sauce.
I also think the Tim Shaw thing is painfully unfunny.
Very unfunny.
Like
a throwaway joke.
It'd be fine the first time. She'd say Tim Shaw. It'd be like, that's funny. But then they keep calling him Tim Shaw. And it's like,
It felt a bit like a Sarah Jane Adventures villain.
Do not insult Sarah Jane Adventures like that.
But the story would have been better.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He's a weird villain. Sorry.
Warriors the Kudlak.
The cat's walking around like, what's going on?
Warriors the Kudlak, a laser tag place, is actually training for potential recruits for an intergalactic war. So they're stealing teenagers and like they're going to train them up.
Yeah.
That's daft as sin. What does he look like? He looks like a bug in a red trench coat. What the fuck? But it still works. Like, it's straightforward enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, no.
Sorry, the cat just sneezed. Bless you.
Bless you, Luna. Sat next to my shoes looking confused. Speaking of confused, the Ghost Monument. I didn't remember much about this one, actually. I've only ever seen it on broadcast. I kind of remembered Sean Dooley and Susan Lynch's characters. I definitely remembered the look of Art Malik's character, the guy sat in the tents.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct look. This one's fine.
It's just a bit random, I thought.
It's very pretty. Again, it's a great looking episode because they shot like out on location.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. See where they shot it. South Africa. And it looks fantastic. And it's a great looking episode. The dingy tunnels and the old like laboratories, the hollowed out like what look like a diner kind of building that all the androids are sat around. The interiors of the ships, like the boats, the river. It's a great looking episode. I couldn't give a monkeys about what happened in it.
No.
And I don't think that's, again, I don't think it's necessarily down to the script or the actors or the direction. I just don't think it's the most exciting idea. Maybe there's a better way to tell it.
Mm.
These people are racing. Why? Because if they race, they'll get money. And what do they want the money for? Well, they're going to help the people back home.
Why? What's happened to the people back home?
Oh, this has happened to mine. Oh, this has happened to mine. Okay.
Oh,
Why? So why are you not just killing each other? You're not allowed to kill each other. Okay, but why? Why are you letting this dude get away with making this be a thing that people have to do all the time to get money? Like, it just, there is a story. There's elements of the Doctor Who stories here. Enlightenment, the Sunmakers. Like, there's definitely elements of these things before, and it just feels very
meh. Yeah.
They did experiments to create new weapons because that's the connecting thread we learn. Like the cliffhanger of last episode, excellent.
Where they all just
zapped into space.
Yeah.
She chooses all of her clothes from a charity shop, which is great.
It's good. Good outfit.
Good outfit. Good earring. Doesn't stick around, but it's a good earring. And then in this one, they're both scooped up by separate ships. Oh, what luck. But, like, the connecting tissue is we learn that this planet that they're doing the race on was home to research facilities that have been long abandoned, that were occupied by developers and scientists who were enslaved to create weapons for the Stenza. So, Tim Shaw's race. Like, there's your connecting thread. And I guess that's to explain how, like, the tech of his stuff they use to try and track the TARDIS and zip to it, it's teleported them here, and here's the connection. It's sent us to another site that the Stenza have got a technological connection to.
I didn't realise.
But then it doesn't do that because the TARDIS is there. So it's like, no, it's come here for the TARDIS. Like, this series doesn't really have an undercurrent thread, but it feels like it keeps trying to have one. And this is the first evidence of that, including the deadliest experiments of them all, some cloth, which
oh god, yeah,
are just cloth, and they've got a voice, and they mention the timeless child, and the Doctor's like, how do you know about that? And then it moves on. And of course you spend this episode after that moment going, what was that going to be about? It is not touched upon until the end of next series.
Such a bizarre choice.
So it's so weird. It's just so strange. It's kind of a nothing episode. I know we've said before as well, like, sometimes the second or third one is usually the pattern of the last, like, decade plus of the show at this point has been like a present day story and then a future or a historical set story and then the other one of that after it to kind of go, hey everyone, hey new viewers, here's what the show can do.
Yeah.
And then, like, this one instead goes, hey look, it's a planet, no one on it, sniper bots. Someone doesn't know what sniper means, but okay.
Yeah.
It does result in a funny moment where we see kind of a Call of Duty-esque POV shot of Ryan shooting the robots.
Say, I thought that was quite funny, and then afterwards I thought, oh, maybe it's not actually that funny. Maybe I was just grasping at straws to find something enjoyable.
The Doctor's anger at his choice to attack the robots is very odd to me in a way, because I get that she's like, look, violence is not the answer.
Yeah, but they're robots.
But then he shoots them and then they get back up. And she's like, see, I told you it wouldn't work. It's like, no, that's not why you told him not to. You could have just said, right, for starters, reaching for the gun's your first option. Not a fan of that. That's never the answer. Secondly, these things are self-repairing. The moment we damage them, they'll just get straight back up.
Yeah.
So it's like, huh? We get more morally weird angle stuff with Arachnids. We'll get to that. I think Susan Lynch is all right in it. I think Sean Dooley's all right in it. I don't think it gives them much to do beyond their little scenes where they're sort of bitching at each other.
Yeah.
They do well in that, but then it's kind of like you look at them and you go, why is it these two? How are these two the ones who've apparently outlived and survived everyone else? Like, what is it that makes them stand above?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we almost needed to have, because they said that the water's acid and there's all these other dangers. It feels like there need to be at least another 2 or 3 people who landed on this planet at the same time that we see get killed off along the way.
Yeah.
Or or they get ahead and then our characters catch up and it's like, what the hell is that? That's their boat. Oh god, they picked this one. It melted in the lake. Do you know what I mean? Like, we needed to sort of have the thing of, yep, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
There's no death count in this. There's no deaths in this episode.
That's a weird thing to be,
No, but for Doctor Who, like, there's always, like, there's mortality. There's, like, the notion of danger is very real.
That's true.
And there's no deaths in this. But we're told the planet is deadly as sin. Like, for Christ's sake, first time they dealt with acid water, at least Ian's tie got damaged, for Pete's sake.
Look, I'm still not over Ian's tie getting damaged, okay? That was a traumatic moment.
Although I do love her reintroduction to the TARDIS at the end, and I love the idea that the TARDIS, by the time they arrive here, it's been here for centuries, and it's a local legend.
Yeah, what do they call
the
it?
Ghost Monument. The name of the episode, the Ghost Monument.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, that is a fun idea. Like, I like the idea that it's been fluxing in and out of reality because she's not been there to put the key in and, like, set it straight, and it's become this local mythology on this planetoid. Is that okay? Cool. Was there anything you liked about this one? I mean, there's one thing I loved, and it's in your notes.
It is. It's my only note.
Is it your only note?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what's your note?
I've got to say... Oh yeah, I'll say after
this.
Unbroken shot when Yaz wakes up. Oh no, there's one underneath it.
Oh my god. Yeah, the continuous unbroken shot in the opening minutes.
Yeah.
Of Yaz waking up on Epso's ship, where the camera is, like, occupying space that before it turns into that area we just saw as a full set.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a little featurette, isn't there, on the DVD, on the Blu-ray box set that showed you the making of that scene, and you can see that they're using a handheld rig and camera operators handing it to each other at one point, meaning that the previous one has to like duck out and hide into the set so that it's so well executed. You can tell that like Mark Tonderai, the director, and a few others, cinematographer and everyone, clearly had a lot of fun making that shot. It is a bold way to open the episode,
but it looks great.
This is one I will never go, should we watch The Ghost Monument? Like, it'll always be one I put on if I'm box setting the series. I'll be like, yeah, all right, play all.
You'll watch it because it's there.
Yeah, go watch your other note and then we'll move on.
The other note is I hate Ryan.
Wow, there's a theme developing. Rosa! Starring the fantastic... Oh, go on.
Sorry, can I just say, I don't like the fact that they're all just like super chill with the fact that they've just landed on an alien planet. They were in space, nearly died.
They do freak out at first, but it's because they've got these two people going like, come on, keep moving, and they kind of have to crack on with it for the moment because they're trusting the doc because she's going to get them back to her ship. Like, that's the whole point. If we get to my ship, we'll get you home. I think they're all just kind of. But then again, it's been handled so much better in Rose's culture shock in End of the World.
Yeah.
Amy's reaction in The Beast Below. Yeah.
It's weird. Don't like it. They're just kind of like, yeah.
Rosa. Starring the excellent Vinette Robinson in the title role as Rosa Parks.
So good.
The detestable Joshua Bowman as Krasko. And an extended cast filling in, historical and sort of theoretically historical roles, doing an incredible job. This one could have been such a miss. This one could have been a massive misfire.
Yeah.
And I think the main reason it isn't is having it be co-written with Mallory Blackman, who has written on race and racial relationships in her work as an author and as a screenwriter, and it's like the care and deftness that it needed is absolutely throughout. That is not to discredit Chris Chimmel's work on the script. Like, it is a joint effort between the two of them. But I think having her on board was absolutely the right decision.
Yeah,
and as a result, we get what is effectively the first historical since Black Orchid. No, that's not true. There's been a couple of historicals since where the sci-fi element has been there, but it's not been like a mustache twirling villain with, a squid head or anything like that.
Or a clockwork, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Deep Breath counts because there's a spaceship underneath it then leaves as a building and everything. But like Thin Ice is almost there. Because the sci-fi element is the creature trapped under the Thames.
Yeah.
But everything else isn't scientific, isn't sci-fi. It's someone taking advantage of the creature and making money off of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And same with this one. The villain is a human. The sci-fi element is he's travelled back to interfere with a historical event. So it's closer to like the meddling monk in terms of like the peril.
Yeah.
Although of course, meddling monk could have caused disaster throughout history. This would have specifically caused a freaking heinous.
It would have stopped.
It would have delayed at the very least, or permanently fixed at the very most, the end of segregation in the United States.
Yeah.
Which would in turn have stopped racial relations from becoming, amicable, becoming decent as the way they should be. Yeah. We don't get a lot about Krasko. We just know that he comes from Stormcage, so the same Supermax prison, dangerous criminals like River Song were kept in the future.
Mm.
We know that he is out. He's got a chip in his brain, a la Spike from later Buffy, where he can't kill anyone. And that's what he was imprisoned for. He's killed thousands of people. He's been rehabilitated in a technological way, and he's decided, well, if I can't kill anybody, then I'm going to do the one other thing that brings me joy, and that's be a big frickin' racist. He steals a time vortex manipulator, and we get the return of the phrase cheap and nasty time travel.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the events in Alabama in 1955 in an attempt to stop Rosa Parks from taking a stand on a segregated bus and kickstarting sort of the beginning proper of the civil rights movement in the United States. When this story needs to be heavy, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like Ryan being attacked.
Yeah.
By that guy with the open palm slap and everything. The use of the the other N word.
Yeah.
A couple times in the story.
Yeah.
It's tough. The fact that like people immediately brand Yaz as a Mexican.
I know.
Because of the skin tone.
Yeah.
So it just shows you the hostility and like how prevalent racism was just at that point floating around. Like black people could be members of American society, but they were less than everyone else.
They were less than white people.
That's how they were treated, and it's and again, some of the best moments in this episode are Ryan and Yaz's conversation when they're hiding in the alley.
Yeah.
The way they handle the realism of racism it's uncomfortable, and it should be.
Yeah.
And it's done very well by everybody. Showing that hope was there, but no one really felt like change was coming.
Yeah.
Which is why the decision Rosa makes at the end is so important.
Mm.
I also like the fact that the Doctor and co.'s aim in this was just to make sure that the events still happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't and the reason she did it is because the Doctor gave her a pep talk, or the reason she did it is because Ryan had a pep talk with her and stuff like.
The reason the world is better is because of the Doctor.
Exactly, that would have been
takes away the power from
precisely what she did.
Rosa Parks.
And right down to like the only bit where it's like, oh, they affect it slightly is when they realise that they were always like, well, no, they realise that they're on the bus too. Like, they have to stay seated.
Yeah. Because
otherwise it's not full enough.
That's hard. That's
tough.
Tough to
and especially, obviously, with Graham, because they don't go into it proper in this, but Bradley Walsh says it all with his reaction. Like, he talks a lot about how, as a bus driver, he's aware of James Blake, like the most notorious twat in history, and the bus driver. And Grace talking about Rosa Parks and everything, and teaching him about it. About like the incident and what she did. So like he talks about like Grace had a T-shirt with Rosa Parks on, like and stuff, like a do what Rosa did or whatever is the phrase where it was on the T-shirt.
Yeah.
So like they really hit the idea of like she was important to Grace because Grace really focused on that story. So you see how much it hurts Graham to be on that bus at the end.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this has to happen.
Yeah.
Again, I think the heavy lifting in this episode is absolutely done by Vinette Robinson, who smashes it out of the park. Accent, the way she presents herself, just like the demeanour.
Amazing.
And it's not one of those ones where the historical figure gets involved in the sci-fi shenanigans and learns of their significance. And again, I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it works fine for Dickens, for Van Gogh. Like, there are parts of the story where it fits. This is the right way to go about this, the way they did it.
Yeah.
The fact that Krasko is like zapping stuff out of time, and then they destroy that. Well, they take that device so he can't do that anymore, because that was his initial plan, wasn't it? Was to like basically zap Rosa Parks out of time.
Yeah.
And the implication that he's basically been zapped back to like the dinosaurs or whatever is kind of funny. It's like, yay! The last scene of the episode should have been a T-Rex biting his head off. But my only criticism, honestly, of this episode, because I really like this one, because I love a historical. Go back and watch our old ones. I freaking love a historical, and I miss them. The only criticism I have of this one is the wrap-up feels really quick.
Yeah.
The Doctor basically shows them a PowerPoint presentation about Rosa Parks from this point forward. And I think that moment might have been better served by Graham talking about it. Or even a flashback. You show us the conversation Grace had with Graham where she told him all about Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we see the whole thing of like it wasn't an overnight change.
Or like Ryan saying it because Grace told him when he was little or something like that.
Or intercut it between the Doctor giving this like kind of lecture and Grace telling it to young Ryan. Now I get why they didn't, because Grace's absence needs to be a thing still at this point. But you could have put this episode later in the series.
Yeah.
And it would have worked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think this works great as a standalone episode. I think this is one of the few occasions I remember the TARDIS looking nice. It's kind of shot. So I'm talking about the new console room. I don't love it.
No, I don't.
I've got a soft spot for it because of like the video games, and I love the boldness of the choice. But I don't love it as a console room.
No.
But at the same time, I think this episode's the nicest the interior looks. There's a lot more. The shots in the TARDIS are a lot more natural. They're a lot more conversational.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right.
So as a result, it feels more. It's implied to be more homely.
Homely, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The custard cream dispenser. We forgot to mention that in the last episode.
Oh yeah. I think every abode needs that.
I love it's got a little spinning TARDIS as well. That's
like
a nice touch. Custard cream.
Bloody hell!
Well done,
Stop learning how to speak.
And the best moment of the episode actually comes from Tosin Cole. It's the bit where he's like, "Sorry, Martin Luther King Jr." What was that, Rosa Parks? It's the moment where he's like, "Oh my god!"
Excuse me, Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah. Tosin Cole it's because it's played dumb. He goes like, "Whoa, let's try after like almost immediately." But it's like, yeah, that would be a moment where you just feel like an absolute goofball because you're like, "Oh my god, what is happening right now?"
Definitely.
Like that's done great. The period setting, the vehicles, the location filming, like it looks great. It's a great. I think this one was also filmed in South Africa. Let's have a little look. Yes, Cape Town, and it doubles up really well for Alabama. Like it works really well. And Mark Tonrai does a great job directing it, and the Banksy joke is actually quite good. Also, Graham blagging. His name is Steve Jobs, and they're there to pitch an invention.
Yeah.
It's a phone that you
take pictures
on, and you can send letters.
Listen to music.
And it's just, and the dogs are just like. At first, she's like, "Okay, we're going with this," and then she's just full on like, yeah. Like she's not even embarrassed or going, "All right, wrap it up."
What's funny
she's just kind of going along with it.
Graham puts his arm around her.
Yeah.
And she's like.
You first listen, she's like, And it's like, "Oh right, your wife."
Character.
Yeah, I'm his wife. Okay. That's very. Yeah. There's a lot. I love this one a lot. It's very
good. This is one that I would, purposely go back and rewatch.
Yeah, this I'd say this is definitely in like my. It's probably in my top 10 of the modern era.
Yeah,
of the modern era. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if part of that is because I didn't love the previous two as well. I wonder if this just because this is a cut above, it captures me a lot more. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. So go on.
This is probably the first time that something has felt so alien. Even though we've been to, numerous different planets, the fact that this actually happened is so alien.
Yeah.
That somebody could judge someone, because obviously it's still going on. Still, racism is still
and
very
the
much
episode
a thing,
doesn't shy away from that. It makes a point of being like, it doesn't necessarily go away, but it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is just shocking. It's awful, and it's. I mean, I've written in my notes here. This episode makes me angry. I could never understand treating someone different because of the colour of their skin. That is what's alien. That's more alien than going to a different planet and seeing a squid head.
Yeah.
So this one definitely hit home. What are you doing?
You'll see. Keep going.
Definitely hit home. On to my other notes. I've written love Rosa Parks. The actress played her amazingly. First black woman to drive a bus. Fuck's sake.
Oh my god, yeah, that's funny. And she's like the first black woman to drive a bus. It's like that is a brilliant line.
Oh my god. Just the the shared...
Well, Graham's like, "Oh my god, your gran heard you right now."
Jeez. And that I thought was really funny. And it was like, oh,
but it's true,
damn it!
because
Ryan's
again, like,
making me laugh.
for those watching this outside of the UK or listening to this outside the UK, this stuff isn't taught very much in UK schools.
No.
The same way that, like, in the US, nothing outside of US history is really touched on in history lessons. In the UK, we get a lot of world history, but they don't talk so much about, like, US stuff, really.
No.
And, like, obviously this is world history in terms of the impact she had, but, like, it's something that's kind of briefly covered in part of a lesson one afternoon, and then you move on.
It's usually talked about when people are talking about women in history.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So this will be a lot of people's first exposure to this story.
Yeah, probably. And hopefully a lot of people
Parks,
researched her and, realised what an amazing woman she was.
To the notes, we've got to crack on. Lovely.
I wrote, that must have been tough for that actress in the diner.
The lines.
Well, all
of
them really. I mean, that must have been really.
Oh no one feels good playing a racist, but like
no, definitely not. But
none of them half-arse it. They go for it.
Yeah, I mean, as a non-actor person, I just could not even begin to understand what kind of headspace you're in.
I think part of it as well is like when you see someone playing a villain, it's playing a villain.
Yeah.
But every day people are committing racist acts and saying racist things.
Yeah.
So it's a more grounded type of evil.
Yeah. It's just awful. Anyway. Come on, Mexican woman, shut up before I use you as a piñata. That was very funny. That was a funny little exchange between the two of them. It's finding the light in the dark is what I could have phrased that better.
We get it.
It's finding the humour in suffering, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot. I don't know what that's about. I guess it's just beautifully shot.
Yeah, you should probably list which shot you're talking
That's
about.
Terrible. What am I even talking about? The Doctor is Banksy. I thought that whole sequence was very funny. That you're not Banksy, or am I?
Or am I?
Yeah. Damn it, Ryan was charming when he stalked Rosa. That's a sentence I wrote out.
That's a horrid sentence, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like he plays into he doesn't come across as creepy. He plays into the whole. Look, I know this might seem creepy, but I just want to help. He turns it around and it turns on the charm and it works. Yeah.
Seems a bit of a cop out for the villain. He should have seen that what he came here for didn't work, and then he was sent back. He could have been defeated like that from the beginning. If the Doctor disapproved of it, she didn't say anything. Because the fact that, shooting someone, bad.
I'm just saying, if it was the third Doctor, they wouldn't have had to have done the wild goose chase all night of trying to outthink him while he's outthinking them, because he would have just gone up to him and gone, "Hi!" and just knocked him out and locked him in a cupboard all night.
End of episode.
Yeah.
I just think they could have done more with him, to show, haha, we've, thwarted you. Is that a word? Did I just made that up?
True, but at the same time, who would have lectured him? Would have been a white
you
character.
No, you wouldn't have needed to lecture him.
Yeah.
He would have just needed to see that he didn't succeed in what he wanted to do.
True, I think this is part of the balancing act, though. Because if he did not succeed, then what would his reaction have been? Well, he would have tried to retaliate or do something.
Yeah, and then would have sent him back.
Yeah, but then that's implying that the only reason everything went fine is because the Doctor saved the day, secretly. Do you know what I mean? There's a tough balancing act. So I think they make the right choices ultimately. But I know what you mean. You kind of want him to know that he was screwed. Yeah. Maybe know before Ryan blasted him where he was going to be going, for example. That would have been, at least then you get the satisfaction of take that.
Yeah. Because he did essentially just kill him. But...
Pretty much.
Oh well.
Oh no. This next one I think is a great monster movie episode, and I like it a lot until the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I think it's great up to that point. That doesn't make me dislike the rest of it though, because it's tapping into one of my phobias, and I think it's one of the few times where someone's adapted the idea of giant spiders and done it really well visually.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, spider! Oh, mince! There we are.
There's actually spiders in that box.
I know, but I couldn't get to them without making too much noise.
Oh, right, okay.
Arachnids in the UK! What works about this one?
The spiders.
The visuals. Yeah. Visual effects, yes.
They
look fantastic. They look so good.
The reason that they're there is, interesting as well, because it's...
There's an anti-pollution message here.
But Doctor Who is not political. Did you not know that?
And it's been done before. I mean, for Pete's sake, like, this is literally, again, this is the plot of Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh, God, it is.
Remember, it's the chemical waste. Yeah.
Christopher made me watch that not long ago.
Yeah, but then immediately afterwards we watched Arachnophobia, so I gave you a shit one and a good one.
The short film's better than the actual film.
What, the Eight-Legged Freaks short film? Yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, it's
weird.
The best thing about this episode are the spiders, which is a weird thing for arachnophobe to say. But, like, the fact that they are mostly common house spiders really gets to me. Because those are the ones that are pretty much the reason I've got the phobia. Those are the ones that, like, see little garden spiders, see little tiny spiders in the corner of the window, don't care. Hi, mate, how you doing? You eat flies, you have a gay old time. And then you see frickin', Shelob run across the carpet. And I'm like, no. Like, those are the ones that are consistent. No.
This car's not starting.
No. Those are the ones that freak me out. So the fact that this episode was like, yeah, those are the ones that we're going to have. Get out. And the thing is, like, Big Mama, scary, sure.
But that's very obviously not real and cartoony.
Nearly Big Mama size burst through the bathtub one, sure. The small dog-sized one in the apartment.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Oh my God. No. The fact that the woman died because basically it made webs while she was sleeping and she suffocated. Grim. The even smaller one that Graham and Ryan trap in a pot. No, thank you.
I thought the way it ran was quite funny.
You're part of the problem.
I know.
You're part of the problem. Stuff that I really like in this episode, the spider visual effects, great. Setting it in an empty hotel gives you a nice playground to work in.
Miss?
Sorry, our cat's exploring in a way she wouldn't normally.
Madam? Miss? No,
right.
please.
It's alright. She's just checking out the new ornaments we put up.
We didn't put any over there.
No, but
she's just really... She's not very clever, this cat.
Bless her.
She's, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. The setting it in a yet-to-be-opened hotel gives you a nice playground, I feel. The idea of, like, Luna.
What did you think of the episode? Oh.
The idea of, like, the security bunker, the lobby being covered in webs, using a bathtub as a set piece, like a spider bursting through the bath. Like, there's some great stuff in here. I think the idea of it being a hotel owner and, like, his personal assistants or whatever, and Yaz's mum being the connection to it all, like, all that stuff, that works fine. I think, personal shittiness aside, I think Chris Noth is very entertaining as Jack Robertson. I think that Shobna Gulati as Nadja and Yaz's sister. No, sorry, that's Yaz's mum, isn't it, Nadja? Yes, because you keep saying Nadia. Nadja.
Yeah.
Bhavnisha Palmer, sorry, as Sonia. Ravin Jay Ganatra as Hakim Khan. Like, I think the Khans are a lovely family. It's a shame we don't really ever spend time with them anymore.
Yeah.
We see them super briefly after this.
It kind of... Their big part in this kind of implied that it was going to be, a bit of a Rose Tyler, Mickey...
Like, I wanted it to be, because they were all really well played.
Yeah.
Like, I want to spend more time with them.
It was like, okay.
I do like that Nadja questions what's going on a lot more. Like, over the initial shock of everything, it's like, so who's this doctor?
Yeah.
Is this your girlfriend? Like, what's going on? Why are you staying so secret about this?
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, the doctor's like, it's like, you know, we're not in a relationship. Oh, aren't we? Oh, all right. Because just doesn't quite get it. The doctor having social cues is kind of fun, because obviously this is the first time this doctor has had the option to be in a sort of domestic setting.
Yeah.
And she's getting a little too overexcited, but then you realise that she's doing that because she doesn't like the silence.
Yeah.
Like, the autistic coding of this version of the Doctor is very apparent in this episode.
Yeah.
I read a thing with Jodie Whittaker recently. She did an interview recently. She was asked about Doctor Who. And she said, like, what she loved about playing that part is it was the first part where she didn't have to check her own idiosyncrasies at the door.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, she basically she took the Tom Baker approach and the Matt Smith approach and just basically played herself.
That's amazing.
And it's like, yeah, now I know that. It's like, that's even more charming. This is you just bringing all your weird quirks into the role and being like, yeah, screw it, she can do it too. Why not? Not going to overthink this. Yeah, Sharon D. Clarke as Grace is very brief. William Meredith as Kevin, very brief.
Kevin?
Yeah, the Jack Robertson's assistant, who got pulled into the bathtub.
PA.
There's some great shots in this, like the what do you call it? The shot of Yaz leaning against the wall, hearing the scratching, and the camera pans into the wall, and there's a spider just waiting on the other side of the wall.
Hello.
God damn it! The main things that ruin this are twofold for me. One, the Trump parallel works until they acknowledge that Trump also exists.
Yes, that was an odd choice.
Yeah. So Jack Robertson is rumoured to be running for president in 2020. Like, he's going to run in the 2020 election. And it's like, you know, you hear that and you go, right, okay, so he's a bit of a Trump kind of character.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then later on, someone says, you're only running anyway because you don't like Donald Trump. And it's like, he'd be running against Trump, despite the fact they're both the same person, basically. So, But it's also like you feel like they had to acknowledge Trump because Trump had been referenced twice before in the Capaldi era.
Right.
So, obviously Doctor Who's that thing where it's historical, but when it comes to present day events, they've played fast and loose based on what the story needs. You know, we've had the implied Tony Blair killed by the Slovene. We've had Barack Obama exist and be one of the people turned into the Master in the end of time.
Yeah.
But we've also had President Winters and, you know, Prime Ministers Harriet Jones and Harold Saxon. Like, we've deviated from actual political landscapes a few times.
Yeah.
So
it feels weird
if you'd have just said, "Oh, he's thinking of running for president," that's classified information, we would all go, right, we get it. Shorthand, perfect. We get what kind of character this is.
Yeah.
And then you bring up Trump, and it's like, well, that's distracting.
It seems weird that they'd put all that effort in to make him seem like Donald Trump and then acknowledge Donald Trump.
It's like putting a lampshade on it and then going, but this is a different lamp. It's like, no, hang on. Wait a minute. Like, huh? Yeah, it's a really weird choice. It's also weird that you're obviously trying to tell the thing of the Doctor's like, don't just kill them, the spiders didn't ask for this. And it's like, yeah, no, completely understandable, that's true. But then her plan is to lure all of them, bar the mum, into the panic room and lock them in, where they will either eat each other or suffocate and die. So it's like, right, so they're not being executed, but they pretty much are. They're being left to die.
Yeah.
And then the mum, they get in there, and the plan is that they're going to spray her with like the vinegar or whatever to try and like force her out of the room and get her into the panic room area. But then they don't, because they see that she's already dying because she's grown too big for her skin.
She's grown too big for the environment.
Like as Tanya Fear, who plays Dr. Jane McIntyre, who does, she does an okay job in this. I think the part's a bit odd.
It's there to tell you what's going on with this character.
Yeah, it doesn't give her much to work with. And also I think her choice of just playing it completely received pronunciation weirdly makes her stick out in
I'm
this.
a scientist.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Oh, it's an odd. It feels like an odd choice in a very Sheffield episode where you've already got an American accent sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. A more regional accent or just a more relaxed Southern accent might have worked a little better.
Yeah.
I don't think she's bad. I just think she's not really
necessary.
Much to do, and it's. But then you've got the spiders. She reveals that the mother spider basically suffocating. She's grown too big for her skin, and she's choking.
I don't think it's the skin.
No, it's the thing. It's about like they breathe through
like
the carapace and stuff.
She's grown too big. She can't get out the door because she's too big.
No,
she can't breathe.
It's not because they're in the room necessarily. It's hang on. Oh. It's dying from breathing difficulties due to its size. So because of how big it is, it's unable to process the same way. Like maybe.
Same.
Yeah. So. It basically they're like, okay, oh god, it's dying. And then you are presented with two options. You either leave it to die or you kill it out of mercy. But because they've already set up the option of like Jack Robertson being violent and murderous and like wanting to shoot them, and all Americans with your guns being a bad thing, him then coming in and shooting it doesn't work as what's he done? Because you've just revealed to us, the audience, that it's in great pain and it's dying.
Yeah.
So in that moment, he's performing a mercy.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't know he's doing that, he's performing a mercy. It's really, really unbalanced.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It's that last 5 minutes just absolutely screws up the episode. Doesn't ruin the stuff I enjoyed prior to that, but still, it's like, what is this?
An odd choice.
Yeah. I think everything's seeded well, like the idea of people not taking the rubbish and rubbish bags being left everywhere, and what we learn then about the company and the history of the coal mine and all that stuff. Like, it all ties in well. We don't get any on-screen deaths. We find two characters just cocooned and already dead at one point.
Yeah.
And that seems like a shame because it's a monster movie episode.
You get what's it in the bathroom.
No, we know he doesn't die there. Because remember, you think he's dead, and then you have a shot of him reaching for the phone. So somehow the spiders just randomly let go of him for a moment while he reaches for the phone, and then it pulls him back again. And then he's found later. We have 3 bodies, but we don't see any. We don't see any deaths, which again, it's like, that's morbid, yeah, but like, it's a monster movie. Do you know what I mean? Like,
give me the morbid.
Give me some monsters, yeah. I don't love it, but I also don't get the hate for it. But I understand why people hate the ending, because I also hate the ending.
Yeah, the ending is stupid.
The Morning Grace stuff is fantastic.
Aww.
With Graham in the house.
Yeah,
that's
that
great.
made me sad.
I love that she's in it, and I love that Sharon D. Clarke reprises the role and is out of focus.
Yeah.
Because that's the point. She's not there, and it's what Graham is imagining her saying in his head.
Yeah.
I also think that's incredibly realistic, him sitting there just giving like her coat a sniff. Because
she's like, God, you're weird.
Yeah, what are you doing? Sat in an house sniffing coats? It's like, yeah, that's what he's imagining she'd be saying to him. But it's also an incredibly realistic portrayal of grief.
Yeah.
Notes, then we'll crack on real quick.
I didn't write any.
I was
too busy watching episodes.
Oh, did you like this one?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Really good.
We kind of in agreement on this. Like, fun Monster of the Week episode. The Trump thing's distracting. The ending doesn't make sense.
It was the characters that made it for me. The story was, whatever. But I liked the spiders. I thought they looked cool. The story progression with Yaz's family I thought was funny. Even though, why is the sibling always an arsehole? Why can't they?
She's an annoying little sister. You don't recognise that because you were the annoying little sister.
It's true. But yeah, all in all, this is an episode that you have rewatched and one that. I mean, I saw it when it went out as well with you, but one that I was happy to watch again.
Yeah, it's cool. It's sometimes you just want a Monster of the Week story, and this is that. And Will this be the last we see of Jack Roberts? No, he comes back one more time.
What, the American guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, character comes back one more time. And then probably would have come back more, but it
Had he
came
not
out
been a shit?
he was a dickhead, yeah, so. And finally for this video, the Tsuranga Conundrum.
Or as Christopher told me to write it down, the one with the bating in it.
Yeah, and you went, I don't know what that means. And then now you've watched it.
I know what that means.
Yeah. This one's a very nothing one for me,
Yeah,
again.
very much so.
And I think this one is, unfortunately, it's due to the writing and the performances. I just find it very dull.
Yeah.
Like, just really dull in place. Like, I see what they're going for. It's Alien. Oh my god, it's Alien. It's Alien. We've had Predator. We've had Eight-Legged Freaks.
All in the same series, guys.
This is Alien. There's something on the ship and it's breaking its pieces, and the majority of the peril comes from avoiding it and trying to make sure that the company in charge of you doesn't screw you over.
I think it would have been really funny if, you didn't see the monster. It would have been scarier. And then at the very end, you see that, when you lure it out, you see that it's just this tiny little troll thing.
I mean, I think you had to see it just to break up the visuals, because otherwise we're just staring at white colleges.
No.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think they had to show it, because if they didn't, you'd have checked out of the episode completely 5 minutes in when you realised it was just going to look the same the whole time.
You could have done it like
when the thing showed up, it was actually a reason to look at the screen for a minute and be like, oh, there's the thing. No, but I get you. I know what you mean. Like, as a gag, it would have been much better.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with that is you would have just been staring at people over dramatically reacting, and also any deaths then would have felt kind of cheapened by the reveal of these people died because this gremlin was in the machine. Because also Gremlins is another thing that's kind of harping off the old school idea of there's a gremlin in the machine.
Yeah.
In this case, it's a small alien creature that is known as one of the most dangerous in that sector on the database. I like the idea of a space ambulance.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's effectively what it is. It picks people up from the exterior. From the exterior,
yeah. What?
I'm just gonna say it. You just reacted to a slight noise.
What was it?
You looked spooked. It was me.
Oh God! I thought it was Google Home. I thought
it was me.
I thought to myself, "Oh my God, Google Home!"
I just solely shook my head and went, "Don't worry about it." And now I'm exposing myself as I just farted. Anyway,
it's a normal bodily function.
It's a normal bodily function. One that would land me on this space ambulance, because I'm sick. I like the idea of it. I think the junk planet at the beginning is a great visual. That looks really nice.
Yeah. Well, no, that seems all a bit stupid to me. Don't understand it. And the fact that you say that it's not referenced, like it's not referenced that they go and find the TARDIS again.
Oh yeah, at the end we just move on.
It's like, what? No. Why do we keep losing the TARDIS? Stop it.
But again, like as a setup, this could have happened in any era of Doctor Who. The idea they've gone to a place to do a thing. In this case, they get caught in like a sonic bomb or whatever it is,
yeah. And
an ambulance finds them and picks them up. And on board the ambulance is one of the turns out two of the patients. Patient who is a pregnant man, and what's the character called?
Steve.
Ah yes, Steve. No,
could I go on?
Yos.
I was
Could I
close.
go on? Yos. Yos is pregnant, and I love the idea that they just set up the notion of that happens at this point in this part of space.
Could you imagine if men gave birth to men?
Like men give birth to to men. Women give birth to women, but also there's an implication that a man got him pregnant. And it's like, I guess everyone can just have reproductive organs that are compatible here. And it's a C-section because they talk about they have to cut him open. I think all of that is played brilliantly in terms of how they do it. It's very...
So why was he so much in pain?
Because like they were on the emergency backup system, so we didn't have like all the proper.
Yeah, but why would he have been put in?
Oh, he also.
He's got no. There's nowhere for it to come out.
Because it's still like a living thing inside you, like moving around.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know if you remember them explaining how the babies grow very quickly.
Yeah, but he would have been in that kind of pain all the time then.
Well, for the last couple of days, because that's the point. Like the joke is that basically he got pregnant to a dude on holiday because they didn't use protection. And it's like holy scoot. But like the way that's played, the doula what? Holy scoot.
You're adorable.
The doula stuff, like Graham and Ryan being his doulas, is brilliant. That scene is really fun.
Unlicensed doula.
Lois Chimimba as Mably is a really fun character, like she being the one then like trained doctor who actually is looking after people is a nice touch. We've got Eve Cicero and her android Ronan, decorated pilot who basically, what was it they call it?
Ship's heart or ship's lung.
Pilot's heart.
Pilot's brain.
Pilot's heart, which essentially she's got shell shock and it's affected her body. Yeah. Like she's essentially it's like she's gonna have a heart attack from post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. I like her story idea. I like the idea that her brother Dirkus, played by Ben Bailey Smith, has gone out there to like find out what the hell's happened to her because she's been secretive, and that essentially what they learn is we shouldn't keep secrets from each other. But then that never gets a resolution because she dies.
Yeah.
I like the idea of her story. I think the three actors involved, Suzanne Packer, Ben Bailey Smith, aka Doc Brown, and David Shields as Ronan, I think they play it very well, but it's all kind of undercut slightly by when we see her piloting. It's just the dumbest visual thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
Like, we were saying that it needs to be at the edge of that console in the room, or there be like a chair somewhere in the ship where like a manual pilot can sit.
Yeah. Like
there needed to be something like that. I like the ticking clock element of, right, this thing's eating everything, and if it eats the antimatter drive, we're screwed. But also, if the hospital have any sense that the ambulance is bringing contamination or potential threat, it will explode the ship.
There's some, kinks they've got to iron out in their...
Pretty much.
In their protocols.
I think Ben Bailey Smith is underutilised for the most part. I think Brett Goldstein as Astos is a fairly well-written character.
Is that the robot?
No, this is the doctor who dies in the escape pod.
Oh, yeah.
I think the problem with it is Brett Goldstein is a very talented actor and a very talented writer, and he is not the right casting for that part.
He felt a lot like a doctor, though.
He did. His bedside manner was great, but his farewell speech to Mably was really stilted and weird.
Like weirdly
delivered.
And...
Yeah, in a way that was like, I don't think that's the sort of bedside manner with the undercurrent of detachment. Like, this is your friend.
Yeah.
Open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Very odd. I just think visually it's really dull.
It is boring.
It's the same white corridors and occasionally they're a bit orange.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, as much as I love Jodie Whittaker's enthusiasm when she's talking about like the antimatter drive and dark matter and all that, it doesn't feel like, I think they're aiming for it to be a Homo sapien, indomitable, like that kind of scene.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, look at these people from the day they arrive on the planet, blinking, step into the sun. I know that's a piss take, but it's meant to be one of those kind of scenes.
Yeah.
And instead it felt like we were being read the Wikipedia article. Like, no matter how passionately she delivered it,
yeah,
it felt like a science lesson.
Yeah. Which
this show can and should have in it. But that felt really on the nose.
Yeah.
And outside of the show, it is so weird that they didn't market the hell out of the Pating.
Yeah, he's kind of cute.
Right? Like, I would have sold plushies of that, key rings of that. Come on. Where were they?
I don't know. It's not that cute.
No, but like, you make merch of it and people would get it.
It's not the adipose cute.
No, but it'd be the adipose even were like ironically cute.
Yeah, of course they were.
Because they were visually cute, And then you go, where do these come from? Oh, they're made of human bone and fat.
Oh, sinew.
What?
Yummy.
How? Oh, they come out of their legs. No, fat people explode and turn into them. Oh, and the Pating's sort of the same thing. Oh, it's kind of cute that. Oh, it just wants to eat. Oh, look how happy it is when it's got a full tum-tum. It looks so happy. What? It's murdered thousands of people because it eats spaceship. Oh, God. It's that kind of ironically cute kind of thing.
Is it just the one? Or is it
just
a species?
It's a species, but they're very rare. I think visually, the visual effects for him were great. I think that's one thing that's been consistent through all five of these episodes so far, is it's a new visual effects team, and the costuming and stuff. You've got different people behind the scenes on the design team. The show looks very good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
There's some stuff that's polarising. Neither of us particularly love the TARDIS interior, but the TARDIS exterior is tasty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Harkens back a bit more to sort of the 60s one. Mm-hmm. It looks really nice. The Tsuranga Conundrum's another one where I wouldn't bother watching it in isolation. I'd just watch it and run a box set in the season.
Exactly. So we'll probably never watch it again.
I probably will.
Okay.
One other thing before we get to your notes. Sorry, this episode had it in spades. We've not talked yet about Seigo Nakanola as the composer.
Oh.
I think the show sounds great.
Sounds great, yeah.
I like it, more ambient stuff. It's a very sharp contrast to Murray Gold's more kind of fanfare,
adventure,
themes for characters. This is more kind of ambient sounds.
Yeah.
And I think it works quite well for the show we have at this moment. Experimentation going forward's a good idea, and I know there is a bit of that. I also really like the opening titles. I miss having a pre-credits scene. I miss having a cold open. But considering the last thing we watched before this was, 4 classic Troughton stories, you see what they're doing. It opens with the title sequence, and then we go into the story.
Yeah.
And it's also Seigo Nakanola's version of the theme is closest to the Hartnell Troughton theme more than anything, isn't it? It's the 60s theme, essentially, done with modern technology.
Yeah.
And I love the bass of it. That hum before it goes... And it hits in, and it's the kaleidoscopic visual is just sort of here's what the original titles would have looked like if they'd been first created now. It's this kind of visual effects, but it's the same thing of the rippling pattern in the middle of the screen, and I like it. I like the opening titles a lot, especially after the bloody having the clock stuff for so long.
I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet, even though I've watched it quite a few times now.
Fair enough.
I don't know. There's something about it. I'm just not a massive fan. Oh dear, that was a sad meow.
Luna doesn't like it either.
Would you like to hear my notes?
I'd love to hear notes.
My notes. The one with the pating.
Yeah.
What is it with futuristic ships not having buttons?
Yeah.
That annoys me.
Yeah, you get fingerprints all over your slide screen.
What if you've just had something that's a bit, greasy, maybe?
Yeah.
And you've wiped your hands loads of times, washed your hands, still a little bit of residue, and it's not reacting.
Bit of residue.
What if it gets a bit wet? It's not going to react to you, is it? It's silly. I've written take a condom.
Yeah, because it protected sex.
No, because somebody says take one of these.
Yeah.
It began with a C.
Right. You misheard them.
Yeah, and it sounds like take a condom. The guy has a very doctory manner.
Mm-hmm.
Washing up is a killer.
Okay.
I don't know why I wrote that.
I can't remember now either. Washing up is a killer.
Yeah, you said that you risk your life every day.
Oh, something happened to someone when they were doing the washing or whatever, and I made a joke about
it. It was Ryan's mum. She was washing up, and then next second she had a
stroke
aneurysm or something. And,
this episode, one thing this one does all right is it ties into Ryan trying to come to terms with why his dad might be such an absentee father, based on what do you call it, Yoss's pre-relationship with the kid he's about to have, and his anxieties around it.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't really stick out to me because none of this pays off really until the New Year's special. So it's yeah.
That whole monologue. It's as if he's just having a really casual conversation, and it's like, mate, put some feeling into it. You're talking about your mum dying. It seems like a weird place to put it, and a weird place to have that conversation.
Mm.
And it was a bit like Yaz was like, "Oh, what happened?" That they talk about it. All right, bye. I'm gonna go do this now. It just doesn't feel like there's any emotional impact in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
What do you guys think of the first half of season 11 of Modern Doctor Who? Do you prefer it more than we do? Do you have more fun with it than we did? Do you agree with us on Rosa being one of the better episodes of the modern show?
Sorry.
Are you an arachnophobe? Did the spiders freak you out in Arachnids in the UK? Terrible title, by the way.
Yeah, what's it? What?
Anarchy in the UK.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below. We'll be back soonish with a video on... Let me see if I can remember the names of all the episodes coming up. Demons of the Punjab.
You could say anything and I'd go, yep.
Kablam. The Witchfinders.
Oh.
It Takes You Away. And the Battle of Ranskor Avkolos.
Oh, gosh.
I can tell you now, I really like 3 of them.
Okay, that's...
I really like 3 of them.
That's a thing.
So, you've not seen any of these ones, have you?
No.
It's going to be fun.
I don't think so. Oh, wait, no, I've seen the next one. Is that
Demons of the Punjab?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I recall it being...
one of the better
good,
ones.
yeah.
It's also very much more like a historical because the alien element is just kind of there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't interrupt the history and the real life stuff in the plot.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go now because as of this actual moment in the time we're recording this, I'm about to be late for something. Goodbye, sweet
guys.
cheeses.
Goodbye.
Oh, fam.